Arteta had a very huge task ahead of him. Sorry, Arteta had a very huge task to do ahead of the game called Arsenal versus Wolverhampton Wanderers today, because the spirits of his players looked to be down, and all he had to do was to obviously lift up the spirits of his players to see to it that they obviously get back in the mode and really focus on the next important game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And this is where we're coming through to bring you Arsenal's last preparations for the Wolverhampton tie, who was available and who was not available, and then we are going to come out and really come up with the best that you guys deserve. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? The 20th of April 2024, and we're here to bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned here onto our beautiful channel. And I hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. I go by the names of Rokani David. You can as well call me already. Continue to subscribe because we want to hit 21,000 subscribers before the end of this week. I know we can make it happen, and we should really go on. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. To the Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And without further ado, let me obviously take step into what we call what Arteta had to say before I really bring you how the players went ahead to train. I promised you that in the live video I did last night that I'm gonna come up and really put up what I call more of what he said in the press conference before I really show you how the team of Arsenal went ahead to train at the Sober Reality Center. Now, Arteta was asked in the context of Arsenal's next game, that is Wolverhampton Wanderers away. Said the context is clear: if you win, we are top of the league. That's the context. We don't need anything else to be motivated or to go to that game with our minds clear and our purpose very, very clear. So the purpose of Arteta ahead of this game is really clear. They want to win and get back on top of the table. That is it. And for those days, they are going to remain on top of the table, if at all they really meet that, are really going to be very, very important for the side of Mikel Arteta and his side. Because if they win today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it requires Man City to win late in the night on Thursday to really dislodge the side of... By the way, they won't even dislodge the side of Arsenal if at all they win, because Arsenal is going to be playing on Tuesday. That means Arsenal can keep themselves into that context of being the table leaders, by the way, until next week. Because even on Sunday, Arsenal will have to play before Man City. Arsenal will play Spurs 2 hours before Man City takes on Nottingham Forest. So it shows you that Arsenal is really gonna be given a very good go into that beautiful system. So in the next 3 games, if Arsenal can win them, they can find themselves in a more threatening position to Man City, and more pressure will be piled on Man City like never before. So we wait and see how that really pans out. But all I can tell you is simple. Arsenal is really doing a lot of good jobs in there for you. Then we go to Arteta on if Arsenal's recent blip compares to last season. All right, that is a question that was posed onto the manager of Arsenal, that is Mikel Arteta. And let's see his response. It's what it is. That's what the manager said. He says, it's what it is. All right, it's what it is. We have to accept, especially the Bayern one at home. In the beginning, it could have been a very difficult. Even away, I think we were the better team. We should have won the game. We didn't in the second half. We paid the price for that with the chances that we went ahead to create there. We went ahead with the chances that we gave them basically, and we have to move on from there. We don't, he says, we don't have to talk too much. It's about showing against themselves what we are made of to turn the situation around, and it can look really positive. Obviously, I really love what Arteta's going to hate to say. And he's really right. Do you know that Arsenal had all what it takes to knock out Bayern Munich? And it's because they never really utilized their chances. If Arsenal utilized their chances in that game, they obviously annihilate Bayern Munich in the first game. They could have gone ahead even to score like 3 or 4 past them. But the problem Arsenal did was simple. Arsenal found themselves in a situation of not really defending very well, and they gave away 2 stupid goals. Then away in Munich, for me, they dominated the game. But in the Champions League or in any game, possession ceases to make meaning when you don't get out as the outright winner. That is it. So, however much Arsenal had control of the game, they failed to obviously create chances to kill that game off. That's why I told you in the video I did last night that Arsenal has to do one thing. They have to get in quality players. Douglas Luiz, Zubimendi, Olise or Pedro Neto. You get players of that caliber, and they should sign another left back that balances everything very well, the defensive side and the offensive side. Not having Zinchenko doing the job. I know people say there is Julian Timber, but I don't think that it's in Mikel Arteta's interest to play a right-footed player as a left back. No way. Kivio is good, but I think he's better. You get a lot more from Kivio when he's being played in the central defense. I think that's the next move for what Arsenal should be doing in there for you. So this is what went ahead to say about that. And lastly, before we go into how Arsenal went ahead, obviously charge up for the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers, Arteta was asked on how he has seen the team grown and develop physically, psychologically. He said, it's been a very intense journey and we deserve to be at the top, fighting at such level, so you are going to have to go through that. This industry is constantly testing your resiliency and your ego. Things go well and things don't go well, and you have to be able to motivate and go through those moments in a natural way, understanding the context and looking at positive vibes. That's the best thing you can do to learn and look forward. So that is it, what we got in from Mikel Arteta, that his team obviously is under the test of resiliency and ego and how they can really compete with the big boys. But sometimes when the big boys let you down as a manager, you have nothing to do, because the manager will come up with a plan of really getting in results. And if at all results are not got in, the manager is the one to blame. And that is what really baffles me most of the times. When the team wins, all the hails go to the players. When the team loses, why do people concentrate so much onto the manager? Because ask yourself, did the team create chances? Yes. Did they score those chances? The answer is no. So I think that it should be something different to really, that is like blame shifting for me. It's like blame shifting. Now, let's go exactly into how these players geared up and raised their spirits for the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers. That is Partey, Jesus, Zinchenko, and Saliba. And I'm anticipating Thomas Partey to start. I tell you this, I'm anticipating him to start. Bukayo Saka, obviously coming in through to really train and find himself getting back to where he deserves to be. Remember, he's 6 goals short from hitting what we call a magic number of 20 that he has never gone ahead to score in the Premier League season. That is it. Now look at that look. That look of Mikel Arteta to Martinelli is really very, very worrying, because he's like, what's wrong with this player? Because he loves him, he trusts him, but I tell you this, he hasn't gone ahead to do justice to the manager, Mikel Arteta. You've gone ahead to say that very well. So he was like, what's really wrong with this player? And finally he was like, I think something is wrong with the player. Gabriel Magalhaes, smiling and all smiles, was one of those people that looked like were injured and couldn't go or push any further to end the game of Bayern Munich. But with his big heart and resiliency, he stayed on the pitch and played the entire 90 minutes. So they got knocked out, but he's fit for the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Then Jorginho, one of those players that I believe has been really so instrumental in the season of Arsenal, and him and Thomas Partey are expected to be put into what we call the team of Arsenal, right? Benjamin White obviously charging up for the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Then Arteta looking on and really having a chat with his fellow managers in there for you. Then Martin Odegaard celebrating and all smiles. And this is really a very good photo to really look at, because that means these players have gone ahead to move on from what they thought a season was to what the recent activity or task is, because their next activity is Wolverhampton Wanderers. You know, losing to Bayern Munich, losing to Aston Villa is now background noise. It doesn't make any sense to them. They should focus on to the next game. And what game is that? It's Wolverhampton Wanderers. Jorginho obviously celebrating with Martin Odegaard. Something special gonna have to be orchestrated in the training session in there for you. So after that, Arteta was like trying to really insert or assert his tactics to the players of Arsenal, and was like, please, you have to be doing A, B, C, D. You get? Then Declan Rice obviously smiling on during training session with one of the academy players of Arsenal that were really promoted to the first team, and he looked really geared up. Odegaard looking on and obviously holding the ball and really getting ready for the tie that Arsenal is going to be playing later tonight. Magalhaes having a chat with Jorginho, and you know they can easily communicate because Jorginho can also speak Portuguese language, because Jorginho is, by the way, Brazilian, though he plays for Italy, but he's a Brazilian. That is it. Easily communication going place. Saka going past Aaron Ramsdale, trying to put and bury that ball in the back of the net, and I don't think it really went in because it was really closed down very well, and Aaron Ramsdale had gone ahead to spread his hands wide to obviously narrow the angles onto where Bukayo Saka would have gone ahead to bury that ball there. Then the picture that everyone would love to see, this is Julian Timber training with the club of Arsenal alongside Nwaneri and Reece Nelson. That is it. So that is it for how Arsenal had to train, and Julian Timber. Arteta had some huge submissions on Julian Timber, and I will be willing to obviously come in through the next video, talk about what Arteta said about Julian Timber, and I'm gonna really be sharing it with you. This is Benjamin White obviously charging up for the Wolverhampton Wanderers game after losing to Bayern Munich, and it's gonna be a test of mentality, a test of resiliency, a test of ego, a test of champions. When you lose 2 consecutive games, can you obviously do the needful? But you'll all remember that Arsenal went ahead to lose 2 consecutive games towards the end of the year. They lost to Fulham, they lost to West Ham. When they returned from Dubai, they went ahead to win, I think 10. I think they went ahead to win 11, lost 1 and drew 1 out of the 13 games. And you never know, this might have been a blip and they might be getting ready to charge up. So we wait and see whether they're going to replicate exactly what they did when they lost 2 games. Saliba obviously trying to do what Saliba does, a very, very, very calm defender, presses his stand, and guys, I tell you, to me, he's a Rolls Royce into that central defense of Arsenal. Then Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba obviously having a chat, and by the way, for Gabriel Magalhaes in the game of Bayern Munich, he never put a foot wrong. He really put everything right. The same applies to Saliba, and that central defense never really let down that side of Arsenal. So who let them down? Obviously the fullback Ben White, Bukayo Saka, and Martinelli. So Trossard charging up for the game alongside Emily Smith-Rowe, some of those players that have gone ahead to show up that they need more game time at the club of Arsenal. And lastly, the winning team, that is Odegaard, Trossard, Benjamin White, Saka behind them, and Jorginho obviously going and smiling for the camera. That is it. So hope you guys have gone ahead to really get the best out of this, and I think we call it quits for now. I'm gonna upload this video, then later I'm gonna return with Julian Timber. So may the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and we out for now. See you later, my mates, and it's a huge match day. Chelsea is taking on Man City in the FA Cup. I'm gonna be doing what we call the match day live for you in there. Then the other side called Arsenal will be playing Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? So let's call it quits, and we out for now. Don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 21,000 subscribers. Bye bye for now.